Hello, ladies and gentlemen, all you weebs and weebettes. I don't know. Today we have the SH Figuarts Deku from My Hero Academia. This is his newer look, I believe. I'm not caught up with the anime. I will say that right now. I'm like season 2 in. I was watching the anime when it was first, airing and everything. But it kind of fell to the wayside. I got into other animes. Those also have fallen to the wayside. I get in that phase where I just want to binge every anime, and then I'll get in those phases where I just never want to touch an anime again. It just happens. It's the same way I am with a lot of stuff. But yeah, I got this guy from Amazon, and he retails for about $64.99, I believe. So definitely not a cheap figure, but not the worst price. Pop that out. You get the instructions in. I've already recorded this intro once, so let's just get into it. I'll show off the packaging and everything, and yeah, so pull him out. Well, I guess we'll reveal. So yeah, packaging's nice, just like all other SH Figuarts packaging. I feel like it's always pretty premium feeling in my opinion. Very, I don't know, very Mafex feeling, and I like Mafex packaging, and I like, same with Amazing Yamaguchi. I think they all have nice packaging, so that's nice to have. And then before we get into accessories and stuff and articulation, we'll just take a look at the aesthetics. And before we do that, we got to plug in. This is pretty much an essential accessory. I don't know. It doesn't want to plug in right away when you want to do it. Just got to get a nice plug in. You got to get the right angle on there. And I think I got it in. Alrighty, yeah. And that is a very, weird ball joint, so I'd be careful with that. Get these out of the way. And yeah. So, out of all the figures that I bought recently, from my last order, if you haven't seen that, I did a Big Bad Toy Store unboxing. I got this guy from Amazon and just threw him in there. He's probably my favorite out of the ones I've ordered recently that I could think of. I'm trying to think of any of them that I like as much as this guy. Maybe Mezco Roadblock, but even then, Mezco Roadblock has some problems. I think the only one I probably like as much as this guy is the SH Figuarts Zoro, and that's because it's my favorite version of Zoro, and it's an upgrade to the original Zoro that they released that sucked cock. So, I really, 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 really like this guy. I'm so happy to have him. Like I said, the anime I was one of the original watchers. Like I watched from the beginning, but I'm not caught up because a lot of animes just fall to the wayside for me. It's that way with a lot of stuff. So I do like this show, and I actually really like I've read a little bit of the manga. I like the manga, and I like Deku. I know a lot of people think he's a nothing character, but I think he's hopeful. In a way that's refreshing to see in a superhero show, especially how the Snyderverse was taking over for so long, and that everyone wants these gritty, realistic, shitty takes. I mean, maybe they're not all shitty, but some of them are definitely shitty. And that I will say, I do not like the Snyderverse movies at all. And that was the way that superheroes seemed to be going for a while. And from what I hear, the new My Hero stuff is probably going in that direction, but maybe it'll help, maybe I will grow to like that for that show, but I don't know. Sorry if I'm breathing a little heavy. Like I said, these meds are making me a little sicker, so, and I'm, drowsy too, so sorry about that. But, yeah, this guy is awesome, and I really was debating picking this guy up, because I love the original look for Deku, so I wanted to pick up the Figma. I like that look. Plus, I wanted to pick up the Figma with the extra bunny rabbit mask head, because that's my favorite look for Deku. I might be one of the few people that actually really loves the mask, like the bunny rabbit goofy mask. I think that looks so awesome, and he would look so cool fighting it up next to Spider-Man or Nightwing, Batman, somebody like that. That would be so cool. So, yeah. This guy is really cool, and I actually like the new aesthetic to this new suit. Sorry about that. My cat likes to cry to get in and then cry to get out. I can't she's gonna have to learn. She can stay in or stay out. I have to have the door shut so I don't hear everyone else in the house. But this I really like this updated aesthetic. I like the more red added to it because I feel like the original one was just green, maybe. I don't think there was even this like white on there. There might have been a little white. It's been a while, but yeah, and I don't really know what this is meant to be. Like I haven't, like I said, I'm not caught up with the anime at all. But I really like this updated aesthetic, and I think it's really cool. And I even got my little bit of the mask back there, so that's nice. But yeah, this guy is really cool, and I'm very happy to have him. I really was debating getting this guy because I was like, you know, the SH Figuarts, they're kind of hit or miss for me, especially, you know, One Piece is an anime I love way more than My Hero Academia, and those figures are ass. Like those, I mean, they're getting better now. I will give them that. The newer figures are pretty good from what I have. You know, the new Ace is good. The you know, the new Zoro, the new Luffy, those are both really good figures. You know, Romance Dawn figures seem to be pretty good. But, you know, it was just, it scared me. But then I saw, you know, I saw one reviewer that I like. He reviewed this and he seemed to really like it. And I trust his opinion for the most part. And so I picked him up. And plus, Bakugo comes out. I think he's already out. But I'm gonna pick him up probably next month or so. I really like Bakugo. And then Todoroki. And then they already, Uraraka, they already revealed her. And then, you know, for the other characters, the supplemental characters, I'll probably, like for the teachers and stuff, I'll probably go with Amazing Yamaguchi for like All Might and those characters. So I do want to get more characters from this line because I really do like the anime and I like the aesthetics. So yeah, we've already looked at the way he looks. He looks nice, you know, he's got good painting, no slop that I can tell. What I will say is the I don't know, the hand joints are weird. Like they're loose and they're like, you have to like in my experience, you have to like take this part off to get the hand off half the time. It's so scared of breaking it. And it doesn't want to do the typical joint that this joint does where you can move it in every direction. It's so weird. So the hands are a little weird. So this is a figure that I'm not, for the hand wise, I don't like that. But everything else I feel like is top notch. It's great execution with everything else except for one thing, the accessories. So this guy was $64.99, so you know, close to $70 honestly, and you get what, 5 hands, 2 extra hair pieces, and 3 heads. That's about as much as you get with the Romance Dawn Luffy and the what's the other one, the Raiden Onigashima Luffy. He's $34, and I just feel like that's kind of a disgraceful amount. Like, you couldn't even give him his, you know, the iconic, like, not Detroit Smash. That is an iconic move, but you couldn't give him, like, I don't know what you would call those, you know what I mean? Like, the ones where he flicks his finger and he, like, sends shockwaves or whatever, or breaks his finger. Couldn't give him that, or it would be so creative and cool to give a Deku figure broken finger accessories or like a broken arm accessory. I guess technically you could break his arm if you wanted to like turn it backwards and like, you know, you could probably break it, but not without it looking weird. And like some battle damage face is like with scuffs and stuff on it. Like there's some stuff you could have done, I feel like, to warrant the price. I feel like right now the accessories just do not warrant the price. This guy probably should have been a budget release, like how I believe Tanjiro is, and so is, you know, Luffy obviously is. But we'll just take all the accessories out and we'll take a look at them. So for the accessories, you get 2 sets of hands. You get the splayed out hands. You get the fisted hands on the body. And then you get these like relaxed hands. You can use them for like relaxed stuff. I personally like to use them to look like he's like adjusting his gloves. I feel like that's a pretty iconic pose for Deku. And then you have like this. I don't know what this move's called because I think this is a newer move. But I think this is, you know, one for all, like making an appearance. Obviously, it's got to be that. And then you have these 2 hair pieces. These are pretty much identical. You get the one with the power eyes on, and this can go on any of the faces, and same with this one. This one's just a back piece, like the hair is blowing back. This one's the hair is blowing back and the power is showing. Now, with mine, this piece is not glued in properly. It keeps falling out, so just be warned with that. But you can just keep those faces on, and you can just put that like that. He can look like he's charging up. And then you got the happy face, and then you got the really angry face, which is what this hair piece, honestly, is most for, the angry faces. But yeah, so that's cool. And then this is what this one looks like without it. And honestly, the faces I'll probably use are between these two, because these are the most iconic Deku faces for me. When I think of Deku, I think of a smiling, happy-go-lucky kid that also gets nervous and gets stern sometimes. So yeah, this figure is really cool, and I really like it, but there are some things I definitely feel like they should have implemented and, done differently. But besides the accessories and the weird hand situation, this figure is pretty awesome. So for head articulation, you can look up that far. That scarf's going to get in the way. You can shift the neck around in there a little bit. Be careful, the hair spike, it kind of hurts. You can get down, make him look like he's looking into his mask. Got pretty good head tiltage. I would have liked for this to be a cloth piece, but honestly, it's not the end of the world that it's not. I mean, SH Figuarts doesn't really do cloth if they can help it, especially. I mean, Zoro's skirt was not cloth, and that kind of ruined that whole figure, so this is a non-cloth piece that I can handle. And then the arms they have like a faux butterfly joint. I don't know if I'd call this a butterfly joint, but it kind of works like one. You can get the hand forward that far. You can almost, kind of cross the hands, which is pretty good. You can get the arm, it's just in like a ball joint in there. You can go all the way around. Got an upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, and then you have the weird joint down here, because this can move independently of the wrist. So you got into there, and then you can move that. And like I said, the wrists are really weird, so be careful with those. And then for the torso, you can crunch forward that far with just the top torso. No, with the bottom torso piece, you can go that far forward. And then it does like to pop out, so be careful with that. And then you can go back about that far. So one of the few figures that you can go farther forward than back, I think. You got good tilt, you can twist, you got all that. The legs can kick that far forward, that far out, that far back. And then you have like a ball joint down there that gives you a little shift, as well as like upper thigh swivel. And then you have double jointed knee. You have a hinge that can go that far back, that far forward. You can rock it, go all the way around really. And then you have the toe joint, which is pretty chunky and cool. So this figure is really awesome. And one thing about these knees that I don't like, I will say, is they don't look, that one looks completed and then that one doesn't. Like if they both look like this, I would be fine. And if they both look like that, I'd be fine. But it's a bit distracting when they don't look the same, even from figure to figure. So that's a little distracting. But besides that, I think this figure is pretty freaking cool, and I'm glad to have him in the collection. He will definitely be going on the anime shelf. Okay, so for size comparisons, we're going to get into those right now. I'm going to start out with a couple imports. We're going to go and imported. This is the Mafex Hush Nightwing. And just because Nightwing is my favorite superhero of all time, this is going to be like, I'm going to do a lot of superhero comparisons probably. But then we also have the Mafex Spider-Man, comic book McFarlane Spider-Man-esque. And he has that's the backpack from the Black Suit Mezco, or Mafex Spider-Man. So that's what he looks like, because it's been confirmed that Deku is really inspired by Spider-Man, and you could just kind of tell that by his like attitude and the way he acts. You can tell. So that's nice to have. Deku and Spidey, I'm sure, will be teaming up a lot in their future. And then next, Deku's technically in Fortnite, so we can do a Mousels from Fortnite, and then Cammy from Street Fighter, because she's also in Fortnite. So since they're all in Fortnite, we can do that. I have no say about that because I don't need to talk about that. And then we have the SH Figuarts Zoro. with a custom cape I got on eBay, waist cape I got from eBay, and then the good Zoro. This is the Romance Dawn Zoro. So that's what they look like together. And then we have a character that I feel like gives me the most Deku vibes if I had to choose one. That's Tanjiro. I feel like these two are, out of any other protagonist I can think of, maybe it's just the green that's making me feel like that way, but I feel like they have similar attitudes. We have Tanjiro. This is the Figma Tanjiro, and I don't have the SH Figuarts Tanjiro yet. I don't know if I'll ever pick that up, because if I did pick up another one, I'd probably pick up the Buzz mod. And then we have the Marvel Legends. This is like on the Renew Your Vows body, I believe. So I just wanted to show off a Renew Your Vows body. And since that's a bit of a darker, you know, character arc, him being in the black suit, I feel like that works with this Deku. And then we have the SH Figuarts Ace, Fire Fist Ace. And yeah, sorry, I have a lot of fire accessories on him. He doesn't look right the way he's standing with those on, but that'll be fine. And then we have the SH Figuarts Naruto. And those look pretty good together. Naruto, I don't feel like is a tall guy, and Deku's definitely not a tall guy either, so I feel like those work out pretty well. And then next we're going to go, I have the SH Figuarts Goku and Sanji. And those all look pretty good together. They're all going to blend very wonderfully on the shelf. And then I did Tanjiro, so let's do Nezuko. And then this is going to be a 2-in-1 because I don't want to take them out of this pose I have. This is the Figma Denji and Power. And this is the Figma Nezuko. And this is how I have them on the shelf. So I just figured I'd show what they look like. And then a character that I feel like would honestly get along with Deku pretty well despite him being a criminal is the SH Figuarts Luffy's. You can do whichever one you want. I have both of them because I love Luffy and I love One Piece. And this is a better figure. This one came first. So I had to get the better one when it came out. So yeah, they look pretty good up there. And then we'll do a couple domestics. I have the Marvel Legends Agent Venom here. And then I feel like Cap would be a hero that Deku could look up to. So there's the 20th, not the 20th anniversary. That's the Secret Wars wave Cap with the shield from the Bucky Cap. So that kind of works. And then next up we've got, well, we don't really have that much more. I have the Marvel Legends Falcon Cap. A great figure, honestly. And then we'll do the Mezco Cyclops, just because I like to see this guy with some heroes. Alright, so that's what he looks like with some cool heroes. I don't really think there's too much more that I need to do with this guy, show with this guy. I did have I have a statue of All Might, but that's like broken. It's like, it was a shitty statue. And then I had an old McFarlane Toys Deku that's also not good. Even before I knew McFarlane Toys wasn't good, that figure I hated. So yeah, this guy's really cool. This is probably the best Deku for your money at the moment, because this guy goes for $64. The Figma is, I believe, $80, $80, $90. And then same with the Amazing Yamaguchi. Those are always pretty expensive. So this is the best one for your money, and this is the best looking one probably. I mean, I prefer the, just objectively, this has the most detail in it, but I prefer the more classic, the classic Deku, the wide-eyed, younger Deku. But Figma's also going to be a lot smaller than SH Figuarts. Those run a lot smaller. So if you want something for your SH Figuarts, I recommend you pick this guy up. I'm sure they'll get around to doing the I think this is Vigilante Saga. So I think they'll get around to doing the pre-Vigilante Saga stuff, at least for Deku and probably Bakugo. And I'm hoping that we get an All Might. Maybe a untransformed All Might would be pretty cool. But, and maybe an Ida. No one has done an Ida. I really want someone to give us an Ida. And I would like a Momo and a Froppy as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. I really recommend you pick this guy up. He's pretty fun to play with. And yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.